Any person who wants good for his children knows that the best he can do for them is to pray for them. That he literally is limited in positively ensuring that his children end up with a good life. Let me just share with you a few limitations. Number one, future is changing so very fast. The requirements that our children are going through are so different from the requirements we went through when we were looking for jobs, that even if you want to prepare for it, you don't know what to prepare for. Your children will go through a life that will be technologically so different, climate-wise so different, that you really don't have enough knowledge or ability on that future. So if you want good for your children, you can only trust the God who is able to handle that future rather than you as a parent. Let me tell you another limitation, that if life goes with normal things, normally children bury their parents. And it means that your children will be alive when you yourself are not alive. Even if you won't be of help, you'll be gone. And sometimes you may not even need to be dead. You are alive, but frail. In fact, your children are the ones helping you rather than you helping them. So if you really desire the good for your children, you need to understand how little you can do for them, how much they require God. So as a parent, you must see your limitations, both the limitation of the changes in the future that you are unable to predict, but also of mortality, the fact that you are likely to get weak or even to die at a time they might be needing you. So can you see then the value of directing your children, not to yourself, but to God at a very early age? You need to teach your children that you as a father are not the source that they rely on. They rely on God. When they are young, God uses you to provide for them, but even if you are not there, they belong to God, and God will still look after them even if the father was not available. Your children need to get that at a very early age to understand that. And that means even if you are to die suddenly, they already know that their real father is the heavenly one, and he never dies, and he keeps his word, and will be with them the rest of their life. So please live with that knowledge. Don't point people to yourself when you are here today and tomorrow be absent. Teach them to rely on him who cannot change ever. But you need to also think of the limitations of knowledge. You think you know your children, and so you think this is what they should be doing, this is what they should be going, this is the type of person they'll be marrying. But the truth is, you don't. If you are to help someone, you must know them and know them well. Unfortunately, children are your children. The DNA can prove they're your children. But the truth is, they are different people. Sometimes you watch your children, you watch their thinking, they grew up under you, and realize for sure they are their own lives. Is it any wonder that in Genesis, God says that your son must leave you to go to establish another home? For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife. That means God has already arranged, when you are still alive, that there will be a different home. You will become neighbors. You will become friends. But there will be a different home where you can go to visit or they can come and visit you. They are no longer part of your family. They are your extended family. Now you need to understand that your knowledge of them and their needs is limited. And when you realize they are limited, why don't you point them to a God who created them, who knows them, and who can meet their every need? I think it will be important to point them to that God. But I think at the same time, it will be important that you yourself live a life that shows your trust in God yourself. That you don't trust in your hands, trust in your wisdom, trust in, the Bible already says, cursed is he who put his trust on man or on horses. Can your family say they know that you don't depend on yourself or on your parents, but you depend on God? Then you have given them a good example. Another limitation that will make you to point your children to God is lack of giftings. There'll be things your children ask you to do, and you have to admit you either take them to a teacher or to a friend gifted in that area. You don't have the giftings. Sometimes they are basic. Not too long ago, my grandchild was drawing something, and he said, and of course, at a very early age, maybe you are talking about a 5-year-old, is able to draw a real thing. He tells, I want drawing that one, and it looks exactly like that. I'm in my 70s. I try to draw. I can't manage. This is a small baby. Can do things I cannot do. So can you see? I know as fathers we like to be macho. Show I'm able to do anything. Come to me for anything. What do you want? I'll give you information. I think you need to admit the truth that you can refer them to somebody else, but you don't have every answer and you don't have every gift that they actually need. That limitation helps you to point people to God, helps you to refer them to other people, even if they are only your own children. And they learn early how to depend on God rather than their parents. Will that stop them loving you? No. Because what you can do, you're already doing for them. It's only not everything you can do, because the others, you are limited. And they know, my father loves me, but he can't do this for me. I think that's important to communicate that at the very early part of your life. Back to Jacob. And Jacob is blessing Joseph in Genesis chapter 49, verse 25. And he says very good words. Because of your father's God, instead of saying because of my God, he's calling himself, he's telling Joseph, because of your father's God, who helps you. In other words, not Jacob. It's not me, your father, who helps you. It is God who helps you. He's the one who saw you going down as a slave in Potiphar's house. He's the one who made you prime minister. It's your father's God who helps you. He goes on. Because of the Almighty who blesses you. In other words, this is not a personal God. When I say your father's God, doesn't mean just my God. It's our God. He is the Almighty, the creator of the universe. You must not personalize God so that your son feels like God does not love him the way he loves his father. So Jacob wants Joseph, to know the God we are talking about is not just my God. He is the Almighty. He is the creator of the universe. and it is him who blesses you. And I think that's a very important thing. But then he goes on to say the type of blessings. Blessings of the skies above, number one. Blessings of the deep springs below, number two. Blessings of the breast and womb. What a blessing, a blesser God is. So I hope you then see the exercise that Jacob is involved in is an exercise of blessing his children before he dies. But Jacob was clear. If you read Genesis 49, sometimes he's saying he's blessing. It's like, I'm blessing you. But then he comes to verse 25 and says, actually, the truth is, it's not me. I can't bless. I don't have the ability. I'm not the source of blessings. It's actually God who blesses. My job as a parent is to pray for you to be blessed by the God who cannot die, the God who has no limitations, and the God who loves you as his own creation and children. So I think it's important for all of us to get that message clear. Do not pretend you can bless your family. Let them know you are praying for blessings. The same thing for you as a pastor. Don't give them the impression that you hold in your pocket blessings which you can dish out to your congregation. You need to come out very clear that it's prayer. It's God who is the source of blessings. No pastor, no apostle, no bishop can bless anybody. All they can do is seek blessings from he that is the source of blessings. And Jacob tells Joseph who the source is. It's your father's God, it's not me. It's your father's God. Who is your father's God? The Almighty, not me. We must, of course, we feel proud when you are, so you say, I'm coming for blessings. Let people know you have no blessing. You as a pastor, as a parent, you don't have blessings. What you can do is to pray for blessings, like Jacob is doing. The real blesser is your father's God. It's God Almighty. So what have we learned? That human beings have limitations. So if it's them you are trusting to bless your life so that you can end up with a good life, you are misplaced. And it's not that they don't love you. It is simply that they are human and limited. And it's not that they will not do their very best for your good, but their very best is too limited for the kind of needs you are likely to face. Like you have seen, what you are likely to face in the future is very different from what your parents have gone through. So even if they wanted to prepare, they can't prepare you. They don't know that future. But God knows the future in detail. So He run your life in such a way that He prepares you for the challenges ahead. So you have learned, we as parents, we as pastors, we as church leaders must learn to point people to God rather than to ourselves or to the bishop. Because it's not that the bishop is not wishing good, but he's limited. Then secondly, we have learned that God, the Almighty, is willing to bless anybody and everybody with blessings, whether blessings of the sky, blessings of the deep springs below, blessings of the breast and the womb. That means giving you children. In other words, every type of blessing is available, not from your parents, but from the God of your parents, if assuming your parents are believers. But you don't have to call him the God of your parents. Jacob says he's actually the Almighty, and he is available to all of us because he's our God.